Hello. Now then, this is just a summary of what we've been doing with the sickle, and I've made a summary, which means a roundup of what's been done. And I've just put it on, but before I do, I'll just show you how I sharpen this sickle, because there's a couple of things that I haven't put in the summary, and it's quite important. I told you about the stone, about silicon carbide and aluminium oxide. You make your own mind up about that. But the thing is that when you're sharpening, what you do is you keep it pretty well level with that, you see, level with the handle, and you won't go far wrong. So if you go from there to there, you won't go far wrong. But you won't be entirely right, because what you're going to do is feel for it, feel for the edge. And if you're out like that, it gives a rasping sound. If you're out like that, it also gives a rasping sound. And you've got to try and get it so that it sounds right, okay? And what you're doing on this side, the bevel side, is you're taking metal off. So you've got to put a little bit of pressure. On the other side, you're removing the burr, because what happens when you put pressure on here and you do that, you push the very edge of the blade away from itself. And if you feel under there, you can feel a very slight burr, like a little rasp, a little, it catches your finger. And when you put that under there, what that does is remove the burr. You do it every time, one on top, one below. You can do two on top if you like. But generally speaking, it's one there, one there. So you're taking the metal off, removing the burr. 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 And that's what you're doing. And if you go like that at the end, and you can still feel that burr, it means that you're not getting that quite right, you see. Not getting that at the back quite right. So but I do mention it in this thing that comes after this little 3-minute introduction. But it's there, 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 and that's the end. Now then, you should be able to put your fingers on there and not feel the burr. If you go like that, you can feel there's a slight burr on there, and if you go like that, you remove the burr. So you put your hand like that, and if you feel that you don't get it quite right, keep thinking about it. What you got to think about is you've got to feel the edge. You feel when it's wrong. You feel when it's wrong, and when you get it right, it feels right. And once you get used to that, you'll try and make it feel right. And when you get used to it and it feels right, it feels quite a nice feeling, because you know that you are putting an edge on there. Alright? You don't have to go too fast. This is fast enough. It's better to get it accurate than fast. At least at the start, and then as you get a bit used to it, you can do it a bit faster. And if you want, when you do that, you come and you turn around like that and away. And here, if you want to get more accuracy, you can twist your hand a little bit like that, if you find that it finds the burr better. So you go. And I find that doing that, you tend to get more accurate removal of the burr. So you like that to do there, and like that to take the burr off. It's just something that I've done, always will do. It suits me, it might suit you. And that's my introduction to the summary. And then, wow, that is quite nice, because I've turned my hand. I always find that is good. I turn my hand like that when I'm going that way, like that when I'm coming back, because it seems to present it to the edge correctly. And you should be able to put your fingers around, your hand around there, and just feel, and there's no burr, and you know that you've got it right. And then when you come to checking it with your hand, yeah, that is a cracking edge. Okay, we'll continue now with the film. So that's it, and that will summarize what we need to know about sickles. Right. Now then, had a pretty hard day doing this, that and the other, and I come down here because I want to be in the picture, and also this is the path that I cut. I brushed, sickled about July time because we wanted to clean out, because people walking along it, and was that wide, and you can see how clean it is. But as it goes on, you can see down there, but you can see how the sides that haven't been brushed grown up. And now it's September, and I'll cut them off. Some stuff hasn't quite seeded, but that doesn't matter, because when I gather them up with the fork, they're going under the trees in the wood, and then the seeds will fall off under the trees and help the understory. So we're not doing too much damage by cutting now, a little bit soon. So what I'm going to do is do a sort of bring up to date to do with using the sickle. It's little things that people have told me about, and I thought I ought to say my opinion on. Now then, if you're buying a sickle, as I told you before, if you get your stick like that, and when it's level with the handle, then you should be showing how much cut you've got. You see, and that is a good idea. If you're looking for a sickle, look at it like that. Don't look at one that's going up like that. They're used for other purposes. Nor too long like that, and a slight upwards tilt on the sickle like that. And what I do when I look for a sickle, I'm looking at the sickle. I'm not looking at anything in particular. I just look at the sickle like that, and I think, do I like it? Just look at it, and you see, that's a nice sickle. It's got a nice bend. It ends up about here, about where the cut starts, and it comes along like that with a nice little curve. So that should cut well, and that's the sort of the sickle you should be looking for. Now, with regard to stones, as I said to you before, I've gone over from aluminium oxide stones, which I've used for years, to silicon carbide, because a number of things. Got a good bite in them, but also you don't have to dip them in water, and therefore I'm going to worry about dipping them in water all the while, and they work quite well. So silicon carbide, they're made by Faithful Tools, and made by other people. But if you're looking at Faithful Tools and you see a cigar stone, and if it's the same price as an aluminium oxide stone, it'll be an aluminium oxide stone, because Faithful Tools sell aluminium oxide and silicon carbide. If you want to buy an aluminium oxide, it'll be about half the price of the silicon carbide. But be aware that just because it's Faithful, it might be aluminium oxide. So look on the package, if they show the package, if you look on Amazon or something like that, and see whether you can see whether it does mention it's aluminium oxide or silicon carbide. If it's as cheap as aluminium oxide, it'll be aluminium oxide. So that's it. Now then, there's a number of things that people have asked me, and one thing they say that they hit stones when they're sickling. The thing about it is that when you're sickling, you're going to be doing it again next year, and you're going to be doing it. So when you hit a stone, pick it up, throw it in the brook, in the leaf. It'll go in the bed of the leaf. Little Robin's come now. He's right by you. He's right. There's Robin, right by you. Hello, Robin. There's a star. There he goes. He'll be back in a minute. He knows I'm here. And so there we are. So that's it. Now then, with regard to sharpening, I've been through this before. But if you got a left-hand sickle, you sharpen it on your left side, holding it in your left hand. So I hope I'm in picture there, because I'm terrible for being out of picture. But you just stick it in there like that. Get your tool like that, your cigar stone. Press when you're doing that, because you're coming down the bevel. This is the beveled edge, that's the straight edge. And what you're doing, you're taking metal off there, cleaning up the burr there, because when you take metal off there, you're bending the very sharp edge, you're bending it over to face the other way. So all you're doing is cleaning up that. See? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Finish bringing the bevel back. Taking the burr off. So there we are. So now you can just check it. It's reasonably sharp. So what I intend to do now is to go down here as far as there and cut this off. Now then, a couple of things that people do is they take too much of a cut. They try and get too much and their sickle gets stuck. And that's not good. The sickle wants to be cutting through every time. So take about an inch of stuff, because you're using a sickle quite fast. The strokes are quite fast. And you're better off not cutting enough than to cut too much and you get stuck. Because when you get stuck, you tend to pull, you rub the edge off your sickle. I know it isn't much, it's a little bit of a burn. I didn't quite knock it off. But so therefore, you want to be a bit light. Don't try to be too greedy in cutting it down. Other thing is, you've got your faithful little stick here to clean away the waste, so that when you're cutting, and then you can take that off the waste, so you're not using your sickle for anything other than for cutting the grass, and that edge will last for an hour or two. But I cut the whole length of this path, about 30-40 meters, never had to sharpen it, because I didn't touch the stone, and I didn't pull it with the grass. And there we are. So that's what we want. Now then, finally, got 4 things: cigar stone, sickle, little stick, and your fork to gather it up. So that's it. So we go down as far as here now. It's a left-handed sickle, so I probably should be using it with my left hand. I'm a bit ambidextrous and I can use my left hand, and I'll do quite a bit of that. Okay. So here we go. I cut with the left hand to start. I put my glasses in my pocket. That's it. Can I see Robin about anywhere? No. Then we're a bit heavy. Go that way if you want. If you want, you can go like that. Change hands. That's it. You see that this is quite hard stuff to cut. I'm using left hand sickle the wrong way up, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't make a lot of difference. Here we go. See, not cutting too much and getting stuck. Got no stones there because last year I threw them all away. Lift them up like that and cut. That's it, there's them off the way. Lift them up, cut them. Whoop, hit the bridge. There's a stick there where the bridge is. So really, should sharpen the sickle down, shouldn't I? That's it, and that's that little bit done, you see. Now that didn't take long, about a minute, and we got a little bit here, we cut that off. That's it, let's have a look here. That's that bit done. Just go down here. That's it. If you like, I'll come with you, pick this on a little bit, and we got a little bit of time left. Let's go and take it on a bit, because that didn't take long, did it? So we'll just go on past here and see if we can get a little bit more film, give you a better idea of how I do it anyway. There we are. So we'll carry on now. Don't want anything else. But there's something. That's it. A little bit of grass here, which and you can see we can carry on going down here now if we want to. I only intended to do a little bit up there, but it doesn't take us so long, so we can go down here a little bit further. And this way we are just cleaning the path up a bit for the autumn. And as I say, can't see whether it's in or not. That way. Oh, and you got a little stick there. That's just about usable with the billock. No, not with the billock, with the sickle. And here we are. Now I'll go down to here and come back up here. The stick there, a little bit big, so I'll use this part of the sickle. If you hit them really hard, you don't split the stick. Now then, what have we got left here? Yeah. You can cut your lawn with this, and to be quite honest, you know these lawn sickles or grass sickles with the curve on them on the edge, and they got that rolled edge, that roll, and they're blanked out. They're nowhere near as good as this. And if somebody asked me to cut a lawn with a lawn sickle, or use a grass sickle, or this ordinary sickle for cutting edges or rough grass, I would cut with this every time, because it holds its sharpness and it's sharper. Well, we'll cut them off now. That's it. That's it. And we might as well go on a little bit to use the film up. Got plenty of time. We're having dinner and it's about 5 o'clock. We'll have dinner for 5:30. So that'll be just right for me. I hope I can get a bit in and see what's happening. Now in here, I'll use me right hand. A bit of fine grass there, but that cuts it off. out here, you see, a bit more coarser stuff. And where's Robbie? He's gone. I'll get down in the brook later on and come up the brook and clean up the side as well, and that'll do. Oop! Got me stick in the sickle then. Yeah, ended up in a brook. Here it goes. This is a bit coarse, so I won't take too much off. See, so I don't get stuck. And that's it. That's where we go. We've only got this little bit round here, and we've done what we done last year. So it's hardly worth bothering with here, but I will just do that little bit because we've got a bit of time. I think I kind of used a half an hour up just on that little bit. I'll have a little look. We'll see if I can get you in there. So that's it. That's where you clean up your paths for the winter. And that stuff, as I say, I'll gather it up with the fork and it'll go in the wood under the trees. And that'll feed the trees, it'll rot down, feed the trees. Just down there. Here we got a, look at that, see him, see? Go on, see where that comes from, yeah? Have to pull in a little bit more. It's a bramble. See, so that's cured in for a while. And he's even taken root in the soil here. That's it, so that's it. Do a little bit of brushing up here. Just to tidy it up. And I hope that there's another bramble, see, rise him up, cut him. Finished him for next year. So that's it. So as I say, don't be too greedy. Try and use your bevel side up, like that. But if you got to turn it around, it doesn't matter too much. You know, that's how it should be used in the left hand. But I actually like using my right hand. And I told you, as my father said to me when I bought this when I was a nipper, took it home, and my first thing my father said, "You bought a sickle?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You bought a left-handed sickle?" And I said, "Yeah, well, I'm a bit ambidextrous, so so it doesn't matter." And he said, "Well, it doesn't make a great difference anyway." So that's it. That's the best way. Doesn't matter if you do it that way, or that way. Okay. And as I say, if you catch stones, get rid of them today, because next year they'll still be there, and then eventually you'll be able to sickle all your paths and you won't have any stones to get on the way. Okay? I hope that gives a little bit of extra information, and we take it from there. Okay, and that's that. Bye bye.